Fasting is not just about food, abstaining from food. It's about everything else that you want to overcome, right? But a lot of people always just associate fasting with just getting rid of food, right? Because it comes from that Daniel fast where they were, they got rid of food, and some parts of the scripture that are referencing fasting by taking away what you eat, right? You must remember in Daniel, for example, they were giving them food that's dedicated to the pagan gods, so they did not want to eat that. So they fasted against the pagan gods, right? Food that's dedicated to those. That's why they were not eating. So there's always fasting against something else. For example, if you smoke too much, you just want to get rid of smoking, you can dedicate a couple of days, like 3 days or 5 days or 7 days, no matter the days that you think you can sustain, right? And then you just stop or cut it down by 10%, right? To say, oh, okay, you're only going to smoke 10% for that 5 days. Make an example of 5 days. For that 5 days, that's it. You're just going to smoke. Or if you have a problem of, being antisocial, right? You're scared of, socializing with people and stuff. Just dedicate 5 days to you force yourself to those situations, to force yourself to socialize just for that 5 days. That's what fasting is all about, to put yourself in uncomfortable zones, to just overcome a certain thing, right? Even if, presenting at work, in boardrooms, and you just don't feel comfortable doing none of that. Just for that 5 days, get out of that comfort zone and put yourself in those situations where you're only going to be presenting, only going to be doing all of those things that you're not comfortable with. And that just for 5 days, that's what the fasting is, right? If you drink too much, just don't drink at all, or cut it down to 10%, because we don't advise just cold turkey on things, right? Because you might react badly on it. So anyway, so if you drink too much, let's say you cut it down to 10%, just for that 5 days. That's what fasting is you are inflicting pain to your flesh. It can be 7 days, some people 21, 40, it depends. Or 3 days, even 3 days. Right? So the point is, it's not just about food. Social media, if you have an addiction of TikTok, every time TikTok, you don't make it on time at work, all your time is taken by TikTok. I'm making an example. Just fast to say, okay, for the next 5 days, I'm only going to do TikTok from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. I'm just making an example, right? Or on TikTok for just 30 minutes. That's it per day. And that's your fast, because now your body's want to go on TikTok, want to go to Facebook, whatever it is, right? So you tell yourself, for that 5 days, that's exactly what you're going to do. It's going to be totally uncomfortable. It has to be uncomfortable, though. That's another thing. So totally uncomfortable for that 5 days or 3 days, then you're done, right? And then you have overcome that. You get what I'm saying? And use prayer as well in between to strengthen you to go through that overcoming, whatever you're trying to overcome. So don't just only do food when you think about fasting. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Yes, food is part of it, but it's not just food. It's about eliminating things that you just don't want in your life, right? Food, drink, maybe you have an addiction of sugar, cakes, whatever it is, right? Just dedicate a couple of days to just force yourself to stop that. Okay.